Hey there, I'm Lance and I'm a gamer.
And I'm Sam, and I'm a non-gamer.
And we are Love to Hate, where we help gamers find great games to play with non-gamers.
And today we're taking a look at Floristry by Up Games.
Floristry is a game for two players in which the two of you will be performing multiple Dutch auctions. If you're not familiar with what that is where something starts off at a higher price, and as time goes by, that price comes down further and further and further until one player decides, yes, I want that. And you spend money or a resource at whatever the price was when you decided you wanted to buy that. So it's a little bit of wait and see if the price comes down, but if you wait too long, somebody's going to snatch it out from under you. In this specific game, what you're auctioning off are different tiles of flowers that you'll be placing them in your grid, hopefully arranging them in a manner in which scores you the most points. Let's go down to the table where I'll show you how this one works, and then we'll come back and share our thoughts on it as a gamer and non-gamer. All right, I have Floristry on the table. Let me show you all this game. Now, what you have here for components, you are going to have two frames, one for each player that you are going to have in front of you, like so. You've got two scoring markers, which are obviously cats, and you will pick which one you want to use. I will pick the calico, of course. And you've got a bag of tiles. Now, these tiles are going to be wooden painted tiles that are going to have two flowers on them of different colors, and they are going to be on front and back there. And as you can see, there are a lot of tiles in the game. And then you've got this nice little 3D easel that has this scoring rubric that you'll be using throughout the end, the course of the game. But really, this is something that only that takes place during the end of the game when you're scoring it. And then on the side is going to be this QR code that you will scan with a smart device, as you are going to need a smart device to be able to play this game. And you will scan this to go to the website. You don't have to download anything, which is really nice. And I have my phone right here. This is the website. And you will press play. And then you'll see two different sides here on my phone. You'll see this orange side and then the blue side. And that's going to be the two different players. And you'll have this phone right in the middle in between both the two players, where they can easily press the ready sides from their sides. And if you'll see, when you press it on one side, it lights up red. And you let go, it turns back white again. If you press down on both sides and release, then well, that's what's going to start the game. I'm not going to do that just yet. I want to explain some of the rules to this before we begin. So what you will be doing in this game, at the beginning, you will draw one tile from this bag at random, and that tile will go right in the center of your frame. Now, that tile is in your flower shop. You're building up a flower shop display here, essentially. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the biggest group of like flowers connected to each other. So in this case, I've got the yellow and the blue flower. And as you can see, we have yellow, blue, but we also have red, green, purple, and orange. And these are the sets. So if I can get 3 to 5 of one type together, that's only going to earn me 1 point. But if I can get 12 or more, that's going to earn me 10 points. So as you can see, I want to try to get bigger groups. Now that I have my single initial flower, then we'll draw 4 more tiles from the bag at random and set that in between my board and the other player's board, because this is what we are going to be bidding over. This is a Dutch auction game, and so what that means, if you're not familiar, after we press ready and go on this, there's going to be a countdown in the middle of this screen, and it's going to count down, and every so often the price for these tiles is going to go down by 1 coin. It'll start at 5 and it'll get as low as 1 before it gets to 0, and then if nobody has rang in by the time it gets to 0, then these tiles will go back into the bag. We'll draw new tiles and start over again. So let me show you what this is like. Again, both players have to press down on their side of the ready to light up the screen. And now that both players have touched it, you can see it's turned from red to green, and we let go and boom, it's ready to go. So you can see this is a 15-second timer, and every 3 seconds the price is going to drop. And at some point, somebody is going to decide, you know what, I want to ring in and buy it. And so whoever touches their side of the phone first is going to be the person who wins the auction, but you will be spending however much you rang in at, in this case, 2 coins, and you start the game with 30 coins. So why not just spend all of your coins? Well, if you run out of coins, then you're not going to be able to win any auctions, and there are 10 rounds in this game. The other thing to note is that whatever the difference is between the 2 players' money left over at the end of the game is going to earn points for the person who has more money. So you don't want to spend all your money and have your opponent save up a lot of their money, because that's going to earn them a lot of points at the end of the game. Now you can see here that me being the orange person, I rang in, and so everything is oriented in this direction for me to read because I'm sitting on this side of the phone. If the blue player had rang in on their side of the phone, everything would be flipped and oriented in the other direction like so that they could read it being at this end of the phone. But as it is, I've rang in on my side, and so it tells me orange player gets to select 3 tiles. The blue player takes the remaining tiles. So we've got 4 tiles over here. I get to pick 3, and I have to connect them to something in my board. So obviously I would probably want to take this one because I already have a yellow tile. Now you can rotate these. You can put them vertically if you want. You could flip them upside down, although I don't know why you would do that. You could just do it like this. What you cannot do, however, is put something catty corner to something already in your frame. You have to put edge to edge, and you could do halfways like that. As I mentioned already, you could do vertical, so maybe I do something like this, and then I would just repeat the process with 2 more tiles. Maybe I take these 2 because there's a connection right there, and that's earning me points, and so maybe I do something like this, and boom. Now that I have built up some part of my display, you can move this frame around. You could move it like so, like that if you wanted to, but you're not locked in necessarily to wherever you've placed them, but you cannot move them within the frame. So for instance, now that I've placed them like this, I couldn't later on decide, no, I really wanted it like that. It is locked in that sense. You can just move the frame so that it is oriented somewhere differently within the frame. Whatever tile is left over, my opponent is going to get to take that one, placing it in their frame, and then we'll draw 4 new tiles from the bag, and we'll begin a new round. And just to show you, we'll hit next round here, and as you can see, it says round 2 of 10, and again, it goes back to that ready screen where we both have to touch at the same time and let go at the same time, and now the countdown is going again. And I'll just show you real quickly that the blue player rang in, and as you can see, it has oriented everything in that direction for them, and we go into the next round. Now, I want to hurry up and get to the very end here to show you that the app does a great job of scoring the game for you. And so we'll just fly through this real quick here. We're on round 8 of 10 and 9 of 10, and here we go, last round, and boom. Now, we've gotten to the end and it's ready for scoring, and so it tells us to score the biggest patch of yellow flowers. And again, this is going back to the scoring rubric over here, giving yourself a number of points, as you can see on this side of the rubric. And then it will say, are you ready? And if you're ready, you'll hit both the buttons and let go. And now it tells you to go to red. And so you'll do the same thing for red, green, purple, blue, orange, and then it says it determines the score based off of your coins. So it does this for you, but essentially what it's going to do is score the coins in the same manner as the flowers. And so in this case, the blue player had 11 coins, orange player only had 3, so the difference there is 8. And as you can see on the rubric, if you have 8, that's going to give you 3 points. So it gives 3 extra points to the blue player. You'll add up your points as you've gone using your little cat tracker around the frame here. Whoever has the most points is going to be the winner, and that is how you play Floristry. Let's go back up top and share our thoughts on this one. And we're back, and now we're going to share our thoughts on Floristry from a gamer and non-gamer's perspective. So I actually got to try out Floristry at Gen Con last year, 2024, and got to play it with the designers and absolutely loved it. I had a great time with it, stayed in contact with them ever since Gen Con, and now it's out and about in the wild, and we got a copy to check out. So I'm already giving you a lot of info about what I think about this specific one, but the reason why I really wanted to stay in contact with these guys, David, Gordon, and Tam, is because I thought this is the perfect kind of game for us here at Love to Hate, because I feel like this is the game that works great with non-gamers.
Yeah.
I haven't actually talked about this with Sam yet to get what her thoughts are on this game, so I'm really hoping she's not like, this game stinks. But I wanted to throw that out there. So, Sam, what did you think about Floristry?
I thought this was a good game. I mean, it's tile laying.
Yes.
And it's a little bit of speed. I mean,
well, with that Dutch
yeah,
auction, yeah.
And it ended up being a very close game.
Yes.
Even our very first time was very close. So I think for us, that typically signals that it's a good game for a gamer or a non-gamer.
Yeah.
Because I'm never going to play a game the first time super well.
Okay.
So it meant that I understood it and that I was able to be competitive enough to, and we don't even remember who won, but it was like 1 point difference.
Yeah.
So.
And I think this is the kind of game that, you know, the Dutch auction mechanic, the tenseness that goes along with that. There were lots of moments in the game because, you know, you hit the button right before I could hit the button or vice versa. And not that this is a reaction kind of game. It is definitely I'm looking at you, seeing what you're doing, and do you really want to spend $5 on that? Like, I don't want to. So, you know, there's definitely some social, you know, bluffing kind of going on with the game. I felt like that was a very fun thing for it being 2 players and the phone sitting right in the middle between you, and you're looking at the phone, looking at them. Like, that's a fun thing with this game. I don't know. Did you get that same kind of vibe? Yeah.
At first, I was much slower than Lance in understanding that.
Takes a minute to catch on with that,
But it ended up being a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I got to play this with my oldest son, and he's not the type to... He likes playing board games, but only very casually. He's even more of a non-gamer than maybe Sam is.
Yeah.
And he agreed with me to play this one after I kind of explained it to him. And I think this might be his favorite game, quite honestly.
We all played it together.
Yeah, because the whole idea with the game, with the phone, and spending the money and knowing that the money is points in the long run, because the separation between the two, that's points. So you don't want to just blow all your money. I think he really got into that and really enjoyed that aspect.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really care so much for board games. So, really cool aspect of the game. But let's talk about the way you're scoring points inside the grid, trying to place them in groups of flowers. Now, that's not anything otherworldly. You know, you see that in a lot of tile laying games. But what did you think about how it works in this one?
I mean, it felt kind of like King Domino. I mean, and keeping your areas together.
Yeah.
But it was fun. I mean, creating those groups and trying to figure out, well, this one has both these colors on it, and I can't put it with both, but some of them you could, and that was really nice. Like, what's going to get me in the long run? You know, what's come out a lot? What do I think is going to come out next?
Yeah.
So a lot of consideration, strategy to this game.
And I think you definitely have to make some good choices along the way as to, do I really want my groups all to be of 5 flowers, because that's really getting me only the lowest number of points? Or do I neglect one color group to make one other one as big as possible to get the most points as possible? Like, there's definitely some choices along the way to make that happen.
Yeah. And I do like that it's visually, this is my type of game. There's not a whole lot of icons. There's not a whole lot of... It's very visually understandable, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And the flowers are pretty as well. So I think, you know, it's got a minimalist kind of vibe to it. And, you know, you're just grouping these colors of flowers together. It works really well in that regard. Okay, let's get to pros and cons here for Floristry. So, Sam, bullet point highlights. What are the things that really work well for you with this one?
I mean, like I said, visually, it's simple to understand. You can see what you're supposed to do. You can see very easily where areas you're getting more points at.
Yeah.
So I think that that's always good. The score tracker, I think, is really cute, and it's your frame for everything. So I think that's just, you know, just a unique little aspect to it. And scoring is pretty easy as well. So
yeah, I think I'm glad you mentioned the scoring, because for me, I think such a good pro with this one, and I already mentioned it briefly before, is that the money is points, and you want there to be a separation between your points and their points so that you can get the most points there possible. So if you're the person who has a lot of money left over towards the later rounds of the game, you're like, no, I don't want to just blow my money. Like, you're giving me points by spending your money here at this point. So there's some goodness with that as well. And just the tense factor with the Dutch auction, it works so great in this game. I think that's a pro as well. Plus, it's also something that I don't think you see a whole lot in a lot of games. So it could be a kind of a novelty for people who've never played board games that have Dutch auctions in them.
Yeah.
Any cons with this one?
I mean, I'm always hesitant for a board game to use your cell phone. I think for us, that's kind of a time to put them away.
Yeah.
So just knowing that is part of it. Yeah. I don't necessarily know if it's a con, but I wouldn't say it's a pro.
Yeah, and yes, I completely understand what Sam's saying, and I absolutely know that there are definitely people out there that are like, nope, I'm not playing a game that involves a cell phone. Yeah. I understand that. I am not that way.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me, especially in this game, considering that you're literally just pressing one button.
Yeah.
So that's all the phone is for.
That involve much more of your cell phone.
But I can absolutely understand why people would maybe feel that way. Any other cons?
No, I mean, not really. I think it's very easy to understand, quick, visually pleasing.
Yeah.
So.
The only con that I might have with this one is that it is kind of the same idea. It could get samey if you keep playing it with the same person over and over and over and over again. But I want to throw out a caveat with that. Obviously, the way the tiles come out is where the replayability is with this game, because the tiles aren't going to be coming out in the same manner as they do every game. And I liken it to the same sort of experience that you get with like a patchwork kind of game, in which the circle of polyominoes is going to be different every time you play it. Plus, as they get picked out of the circle, your options change every time you play the game. The same thing is sort of true in this one, that the grouping of 4 different tiles is going to be different every time you play it. Plus,
I think it's for our family specifically, and it may just be because I enjoy the game so much, but it is like Patchwork and Azul and King Domino, but those are the games that last the longest.
They get played the most. Yeah.
So
and that is where we're coming from as a gamer, non-gamer couple. Hence the reason why we do our stinking YouTube channel.
Yeah.
This is the perfect kind of game for that marrying of gamer and non-gamer. So if you're in a similar boat to what we're in, I think you hearing me say that probably doesn't even bother you, that maybe this could get samey, because I feel like that's the kind of problem that you run into with a gamer and gamer kind of dynamic.
Yeah, like I'm looking for samey. I'm looking to understand the game and play better and better.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Okay, let's get to scores here for Floristry. So, scale of 1 to 10, love to hate. Where's this one come in at?
I mean, I really enjoyed it. I'd probably give it a 7.8.
7.8. Yeah, that's pretty high. Yeah. Maybe, I know we're only in February, but maybe something you might see towards the end of the year. But yeah. I'm in a similar ballpark, and for me, I'm going to give this one an 8, simply for what we just talked about, that this is the perfect kind of game for us.
Yeah.
May not be the perfect kind of game for you out there if you are definitely looking for something that's heavy and going to give you a different feel every time you play the game.
Your husband will find this on our channel.
More than likely, yeah, exactly. But if you are watching our channel looking for great games that work for gamers and non-gamers, this is it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is really it. So I really enjoy it. It's Floristry. It is from Up Games. Leave us some comments down below. Let us know what you think about this one.
Make sure to like and subscribe and push that bell button so you get notifications of all our new content.
I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate, where we bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.